Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Oh my God.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
What are you going to do? Okay, how are you going to handle this?
I'm gonna ask where her pants are.
I'm gonna ask if I can go get her pants for her. Hello, and welcome to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers. This is typically the part where Hope says, that's Sarah, and she loves books. And then I say, that's Hope. She loves talking to me about books. But Hope is on vacation still. For this last podcast, she'll be back next pod. But in the meantime, I am joined by legendary book reader, friend of the pod, friend in real life, regular on this podcast, Liz Warner. Hi, Liz. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. So excited.
We're so excited to have you. I have to know what you're reading right now, which is so ridiculous because you and I see each other multiple times a week. Mm-hmm. We read together. I know you're on the fucked up thriller train.
Fucked up
currently.
thriller train. Yeah, this one's Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. It just came out. It has no romance. I have been into the thriller romances. As of now, it doesn't seem like there's romance, but it is equally as fucked up. So, yeah, it's like, just look at the trigger warnings before you read it. But it's a good fucked up so far. So, what are
yeah, and it was really funny because you were telling me that you were reading Mia Sheridan,
Mm-hmm.
which I was like, how do I know that name? And you were like, oh, she wrote Archer's Voice, which is like one of my least favorite books.
Yeah.
But you were like, no, she does thrillers right.
Yeah, she, like, I guess is really into writing, like, sad romances, but then on the other side, she's really into writing really fucked up thrillers that have some romance where they fall in love with detectives. So, you know, ACAB, but I do love a detective, unfortunately. So those ones are really good. All the little raindrops. But, like, again, check trigger warnings. But, oh, man, it's crazy. So
crazy.
But maybe don't read Archer's Voice.
Yeah, no, I would not recommend Archer's Voice. But I know that we are halfway through the year. Where are you at with your reading goal?
Oh, Sarah, I don't know. Hold on. Let me look at my Goodreads.
You just said that to me like it was the most taxing thing I could have ever asked of you.
I forgot where I'm at. Right.
What's your goal? Do you know?
70, and I'm at 38.
Okay, well, you're good.
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
I said 110,
You're
and
insane.
I'm at 48.
Yeah.
Which means I'm 8 books behind schedule according to Goodreads. But that was because I went down the Throne of Glass hole with you this year.
Yeah, that puts you behind. But, like, page count on Storygraph.
Do you
set a page count
goal?
goal?
No, I don't.
Oh, you should set a page count goal because I'm way ahead because of the Throne of Glass books. So
yeah, I'm really tired because I did all of Throne of Glass, and then I got the dramatized version of Silver Flames so I could listen to the graphic audio. Mm-hmm. And then, which, by the way, audio pornography. But then we did Crescent City, third Crescent City book. I'm done. With Crescent City. I think, like, first of all of these books being like 1,000 pages is really getting to me. But more so is the fact that Crescent City just wasn't it for me. Like, especially after enjoying Throne of Glass so much, this was not it.
Yeah. I mean, it was still fun. Like, Sarah J. Maas is very good at keeping you in a book, or at least in the world. She's very creative, but then objectively it wasn't the best book, but I read too fast to be objective, so I'll still read the next one when it comes out, I'm sure. But
well, okay, so what other favorites have you read this year? Obviously you loved Throne of Glass, but other than that, what other books did you love this year that you've done so far?
Sarah, we both just finished The Unhoneymooners, and that was very cute.
That was so fun.
I know.
Just like such an easy read.
It was so fast. I am upset because Christina Lauren, if you're listening, both of you, I didn't know that it was a dual author. I also would like to know how you do that, please. I need the after book, the 1.5. I need that not as audio because my autistic ass cannot listen to audio. I need it print. Please.
Yeah, it feels exclusionary.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't I say that word?
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
what else have you read that you love lately? Well, since the beginning of the year, I should say.
Well, on the Mia Sheridan train, she had a duology almost of, again, the fucked up thriller where a detective falls in love with, like, the victim, which we don't need to break down that there now. But, and then the victim's son, is, like, the detective in the second one, and it all circles back, and they might be 500 pages each. Ignore that. They're on KU if you need them. House of Glass. I'm sorry. These are just like my last reads, but they were all so good. I don't know why. This was by Sarah Pekkanen, and I don't know if that's how you say her name. I would assume so. It just came out, and it's very tense, but it's not a twisty-turny thriller tense. Sorry if this is more of a smut audience, but here's some thrillers for you. And then Bad Mother by Mia Sheridan, again, fabulous, and has some romance in there. Just random sex scenes in a thriller is odd, but I did love it. And then other than that, let's see, I'm scrolling through the rest. Oh, 7 Year Slip was fabulous, as per usual. And then Throne of Glass took up like 2 months of my year. So, and then, I did read Sarah J. Maas's entire bookography, whatever. This year, so that took up like 4 months of my year.
I mean, you did go through like all of Crescent City for the first time too, so that takes time. But as far as I go, I did a lot of Throne of Glass, but I've been trying to power through some romances right now. So like we did that on Honeymooners. I did The Roommate Risk, which was just kind of a fluffy, nice, super spicy read of two main characters of color, curvy woman.
Love.
It was British. I know you are prejudiced against British authors.
Yeah, I don't like the British.
But it was so, like, if you want a spicy, fun read, like, it was a great time for me. It was easy.
Did you just buy that?
Huh?
Did you just buy that?
I did that right before Crescent City as an audiobook. I did it in one night.
It's
a little aggressive.
Oh, wait. Going back to On Honeymooners, one thing I don't like, Christina Lauren, if you're listening again, where's the sex? Why is it closed door? I was like, it was horny, and then they closed the door. And I said, open that back up. I don't know if all of their books are like that. That's my first one by her.
I've read a couple of their books, and I've loved them all, but they've all been so emotional. I think they get like feisty and they get a little heated, but they're not as descriptive. No.
Damn. Well, we need X-rated.
No, I need X-rated,
Hand
Christina Lauren. Please. Speaking of, I've been on my little queer train myself for Pride.
Oh, yes.
I did Cleat Cute, which is getting turned into a show or a movie. We're not quite sure.
Was it good?
I didn't like Meryl's other stuff. They wrote Mistakes Were Made, which was an age gap, best friend's mom. It really just felt like a mommy's issue. That's why they were hooking up thing. Like there was no real emotion in it for me. This had more emotion and it had mental health rep, which was really fun. But other than that, like it was fine. I wasn't over the moon about it.
Okay.
But I did read The Charm Offensive, which is a queer love story. If it was set in The Bachelor, and The Bachelor was fell in love with his essentially handler, like his assistant producer, like the producer supposed to handle him.
I've been trying to bully you to read that for years, so
and I loved it.
I'm so glad you listened to me. What's the author?
Allison is the author.
Allison Cochran?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a lesbian woman.
Yeah.
I believe her pronouns are she, her. She is fabulous. She writes great books.
And she's got another one out this summer that I have not read yet.
No, it's on my shelf. I need to read it next.
Oh, I did read Rock, Paper, Scissors, which I know you're against.
Yeah, anti-British. Sorry, everyone.
But I was shocked by that one as somebody who's not a thriller reader. Also, I read all of the Chestnut Springs series, which is the Elsie Silver cowboy romance. Yeah. I am going to be returning to my cowboy romance roots because I did go. It seems like at the beginning of each year, I go through some sort of genre spurt. Last year, it was historical romance because I was grieving, and that was like the only way I wanted to get through.
Yeah.
And then this year, it was It was cowboy romances, literally one after another.
That is so funny.
So we'll see what next year brings.
Oh my God, it's gonna be.
God only knows.
Yeah,
but
we've getting darker.
Yeah, we're just gonna start going darker and darker. I haven't read a dark romance in a while. I should maybe do that.
Yeah, I still have Haunting Adeline on my KU. I'm like,
no, you should. Here's the thing.
It's a canon event.
I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, and I really understand. Like, it's one of those things you walk into and you're like, I know that's going to be a really screwed up situation and it's not reality, right? Like, this is not healthy and it's not good, but I can suspend my belief for a few minutes.
Oh, yeah. And if the plot's there, then that's all I need. I just am big on plot, you know?
Yeah, and you've been really into fucked up shit. So I think actually it'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, my friend was telling me, my friend Jessie, hey Jessie, if you're listening, told me to read the Mindfuck series too, which is a similar thing. I think it's like a serial killer stalks someone and then they fall in love or something, or like.
Yeah, I haven't read it.
I don't know. The description on Goodreads is really bad. It doesn't make any sense, but I've heard good things. So we'll see. It's like 4 books though.
Yeah, no, it's commitment.
Yeah.
But Haunting Adeline, I also have heard, I don't know, like, it's so hard to know what is true and what is not, because I read it and I was like, wow, that was really fucked up. And I've read some fucked up dark romances. Like, that's not completely out of the realm for me. But some people were like, yeah, it's QAnon, like, fan fiction. And I was like, what? And I could, like, look, you could pull out some themes of what QAnon believers believe and put it into this realm, but also you could probably put that in any realm. So I'm not 100, unless, like, I don't want to completely write it off as not true. Right. But I'm also like, are we just trying to find patterns where there are patterns? I don't know. It's good to think about. I think it's always good to be aware when you're reading. But, like,
what's the examples? I guess I just don't get it.
Well, I don't want to. There's a plot line that I don't want to ruin. Okay. But it is this idea of the concept, for those who don't know, Haunting Adeline, which is like a super popular book talk thing. It's this guy who is his day job is working for like a tech company that he is the CEO of course. We got to make him rich. And he runs this tech company that helps find missing women and girls and like people who are being sex trafficked. And the irony is he becomes obsessed with this girl that moves to town and starts stalking her, and like breaks into her house, and like maybe there's some non-consensual things that happen. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff that happens that I'm like, okay, this is fucked up, obviously. And again, I would not recommend it to anybody. No. You're the only person that I've been like, you would not care about the content warnings here.
No. So. I don't really like have not an inner monologue, but an inner like visualization of things. So I don't visualize like the scenes happening. It's just kind of like radio to me, basically. So that's why I think these things don't affect me, because I don't see them. So I'm like,
that's fair.
Out of sight, out of mind. Goodbye.
Also, I think it's really good when you can parse it out as fiction, right? Like I think what scares me sometimes when we see these young, especially girls, read some of these really hardcore content materials, like I want to respect that some people are old enough to handle those, right? But at the same time, some of these people being like, oh, Zayd is the main guy character. I want a Zayd in my life and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, girl, no. If a man started acting like that towards moi, his ass is on the curb.
Yeah. I feel like there have been a lot of TikToks about teachers who have said, like, their students are reading It Ends With Us or these very popular books, and it's like I remember going and buying 50 Shades of Grey as like a freshman in high school or below, because I had done the same thing where my reading level was like, I don't know, 12th grade when I was in like 2nd grade, and so I'm just like out reading everything in the library, but then it becomes a challenge for my parents and teachers to like explain the concepts to me. And like I feel like it's fine if kids are reading these books as long as someone's having mature conversations with them about the content in there. And if they feel awkward about that or they don't want to talk about it with their parents, then they shouldn't be able to read it, you know?
Yeah. I think as somebody who also read a lot of mature content on AO3.
Man, I'm glad I didn't
that
find out about it.
fanfic was so good. No, like there were times when, oh God, you want to hear a really embarrassing story. I did not know what the word erotica meant for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I must have been reading some romance stuff on the family computer.
Yeah.
And it was like a AO3 type situation.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things are abbreviated, right? So they'll like categorize it romance/erotica, which I think is what it was. But I read it, and looking back, I remember what I had read, and I now know that there was nothing actually sexual in the chapters I read. I stopped reading it after that. But my mom walked into my bedroom in like before school started because she was a teacher. So she walked into my bedroom and woke me up and was like, Sarah Ann Mueller, what are you doing? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, Sarah, what did I find on the computer this morning? Do you understand what the word erotic? I'm like, literally, no, I don't.
No, girly, I just want some love.
No, I just like people falling in love. I just like hot people falling in love. But genuinely, I don't think I read any chapters that were spicy whatsoever.
That's so
but
funny.
my mom gave me a lecture that morning before school, which was so embarrassing.
I feel like that's the girl equivalent of finding porn on the computer for like boys,
yes,
you know?
Yes. Wow, that was such a fun deep dive.
That's hilarious.
Everybody can laugh at me now.
We've all been there.
Look, we've all been there.
I wish I would have known about AO3.
Yeah, no. There were so
didn't.
many sites, especially like I feel like in 2010. Like now I feel like we have monopolized like AO3 and all sorts of different like platforms, but it used to even be more platforms where you could pull from.
Right.
But anyway, let's dive into our book that I have for you
Oh my
today.
God, yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
I forgot we had a book.
You're like, I totally forgot I was here to hear about a
We
spice
just
book.
be yapping.
I chose this book because there's genuinely nothing to research. Okay. So I couldn't use it for hope.
Okay.
I just read it. You probably saw my review on Goodreads.
No, I haven't scrolled the Goodreads lately.
Oh.
So I'm blind.
I cannot see. We are reading Silver Foxed by Kayla Grosse. I really hope I'm saying your name right, Kayla. The content warnings we have today are obviously sexual content. Divorce, pregnancy, and age gap. Okay?
Okay.
How do you feel about those content warnings?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Nothing bothers me.
I know. I just thought you might have some theories about where we're going.
Oh, you want me to guess?
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you say them again? Sorry.
You're like, I already forgot.
Yeah.
Sexual content, divorce, pregnancy, and age gap.
Like maybe the stepdad and the daughter or something weird.
Oh, no. I would have put an incest thing in there if that was the case.
But stepdad and, you know. Anyway. No, okay. I'm ready.
You're like, I'm so bad at guessing. Storygraph, it had a 3.9.
Wow, Storygraph.
Goodreads, it has a 4.02.
Oh my God.
And Sarah gave this a 4.
Wow.
And this is about 140 pages. Okay, so it's a little novella. I'm going to tell you a little bit about our author, Kayla. This is from her, I think, the Amazon bio. Kayla grew up in the suburb of Madison, Wisconsin, which we love Madison, just down the road from us. Though she lived near a big college town, her backyard was a cornfield, and her favorite hobby was riding her horse and imagining herself flying through the fields with a cape on her back and a sword in her hand.
Cute.
Girl, you and me both. Her overactive imagination led her to write lots and lots of fanfic, scripts, and published 6 books. I think she has more than 6 now, if I'm correct. When not writing, Kayla can often be found riding horses or drinking fancy espressos.
Cute.
She lives in Los Angeles, California, with her cockatiel. Is that a bird?
Maybe.
I don't know. And she has a quarter horse named Atlas. So very
Cute.
fun. Animal lover. We love it. I firmly believe you cannot be an author without an animal. If you are an author, you must have an animal of some sort.
Okay.
That's...
I believe it.
Look, I just feel like it has to go with the vibe.
That's
right?
fair. Like the cozy videos, they have to have an animal.
Yeah, we love the YouTube cozy videos that are like 8 hours of a rainstorm in a cozy cottage with a fireplace.
Must have books. That's
it
mine.
has to have books, and it has to have a warm drink with steam rising from it.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my preferences.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised you need to have books, though.
I like the book look. It's like I'm in a little library.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I'm going to disclose right at the beginning here that this author there's a little kind of a disclaimer at the beginning with all the tropes and stuff so that people can be aware.
Cool.
But she even says, this book is a smut book proper. There is little to no plot, okay?
Okay.
Like, this is 140 pages of sex.
Woohoo!
Okay. So I want you to picture this and give me your honest reactions as you have them. You're a 45-year-old white man.
Oh, no. It's from his point of view?
It's dual point of view, so that we switch chapters.
Ugh. Okay.
Okay, you're a 45-year-old man. You just got done with a messy divorce, and you're working your tail off as a vice president at some major company.
Of course you are. No glass ceiling for you, old man. Sorry. Something about old white men.
I literally had to turn away and laugh. Sorry, I did not want to blow people's speakers out. Okay, so your best friend is also your boss, okay? Your big VP, so what? Okay. He's the CEO, right?
Okay.
He's your best friend, and he's like, you've been working so hard, you've gone through this messy divorce, why don't you take like the weekend, really don't worry about work. I want you to take the weekend and go to my lake house. They're in LA, so like they're gonna drive up the coast and just go to my lake house by yourself, enjoy some alone time, don't get on your laptop, anything like that. So you hop in your sports car and you head out of LA. One of those highways that we in the Midwest don't know about. You arrive at this absolutely gorgeous lake house mansion. It is a mansion. It's huge. Yeah. You did bring your laptop, but only so you could work on your novel because you are a creative writer. You're like wandering around and you're ready to like enjoy nature, but like you're not really a nature guy, but you're kind of like, I'll sit on a patio, right? I'll sit on the deck.
So true.
You're like, I'm not going to talk to anyone this weekend. It's going to be lovely. So you walk inside, and in the kitchen, you find a very curvy woman with long red hair cooking dinner in a thong and an apron.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Oh my God.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. What are you going to do? Okay. How are you going to handle this? You yourself.
Me?
Yes.
But I don't want to be a 45-year-old man.
Okay, be a 45-year-old woman. I don't give a shit. What are you going to do?
I'm going to ask where her pants are.
I'm going to ask if I can go get her pants for her.
Hi, I'm going to look respectfully.
I'm going to look respectfully.
And I'm going to ask what's for dinner.
Well, obviously, he's like, this is happening to one of our main characters, Elijah Astor. So he's trying to be respectful, but he's also like instant lust. Not instant love, instant lust. I mean, he's obviously like drooling over this woman. And he's like, how do I alert her, but also not scare the shit out of her?
Yeah.
So he like just, yeah, hi. Yeah. And she obviously screams. And they're both in shock. And after some accusing and a wooden spoon being pulled, they figure out that they were both supposed to have this lake house by themselves. Because turns out the girl is his best friend and boss's 30-year-old daughter, Alex.
Oh, no.
Do you see the age gap?
I see the age gap.
The 15-year age gap?
Daughter. Best friend's daughter.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a stepdad, but it's pretty close. Mm-hmm. So I guess Alex's stepmom, be very clear here, it's a stepmom, told her to use the lake house that weekend, and I guess Mom and Dad did not communicate that they were offering the lake house to two different people. So Elijah tries to do the noble thing and says, like, I'm going to go get a hotel and I'll head back to LA in the morning. You know, like, you don't have to worry. I'm so sorry to, like, intrude. And this girl's like, you know what? Alex is like, I don't know what it is about the silver hair. And by the way, 45, silver hair, not that it's unheard of, but like,
right.
That's giving me more like 60 vibes.
Yeah. Well, 30 and 45, like, to me don't seem like that big of an age gap anymore. Like,
no.
You know, if it was 30 and 60, be like, okay, grandpa, go get your pill, but maybe he's like starting to go gray.
Yeah. No, he's like he's got a little silver hair, and he's got like a salt and pepper beard kind of going on.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is kind of doing it for me. So she's like, no, like don't worry about it. We have this massive house.
Is
like
this conversation in her underwear still?
I can't remember if she's gotten her pants on yet or not. I think she has.
Okay.
I think she has put on. Well, she put on a dress, of course.
Good.
Not a
Good.
yeah. So she's like, you know what? We have guest rooms. You can just come and stay, and like we can stay clear of each other if we want, whatever.
Yeah.
And so finally, he's like, all right, fine. So they decide to stay together. She was like, I'm already making dinner. Why don't you just join me for dinner?
Of course.
And he's like, I couldn't say no.
Yeah.
Could not. So they enjoy a well-cooked meal, some wine, and they share some trauma.
Always.
Because he's had a horrible divorce, of course. But she broke off her engagement 6 months ago.
Okay.
Because of, she was in love with the guy, but he was kind of a douche, and he also, like, didn't want the same things as her.
Right.
So Alex then convinces Elijah to get in the hot tub with her.
I knew it was going to be a hot tub.
You can't have a lake house that rich and not have a hot tub.
And, like, that's a good segue into sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Things
I literally have
happen
on
in
here.
hot tubs.
I have on here, tell me a time in which 2 sexually charged people getting into a hot tub didn't end in sex.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, she's kind of teasing him about being Mr. Serious and needing to relax. And she's like feeling up his legs. And like, it doesn't take long until they're making out.
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
And he's like, I don't know if I can do this. And she's like, just you're overthinking it. Like,
old man.
Sorry, Alex. I just gave you like the most obnoxious voice. You're overthinking it. Just stop. So she's like, get up on the edge of this hot tub for me. The way you just covered your mouth. Girl, wait until you hear the rest of this story because it's going to get crazy. So he gets up on the top or like the edge, and she's going to give him oral sex, of course.
Oh, okay. I was picturing him bent over. I don't know. I'm really bad at when they describe how they're sitting and stuff. I'm always like, I don't get how this
here's
works.
okay, imagine a hot tub, okay? They can be pretty big. And even the smaller ones are decently big. And if he's sitting up there receiving oral sex, he actually moves one of the jets so that she will be receiving stimulation as well.
Look at him. What a nice
But also,
guy.
like, is the jet behind her or in front of her? Because if it's behind her, then it feels too far away in my mind. It's got to be in front of her.
But in front of her, I'm like, is she standing?
I know. This is where I'm like, okay, Kayla, my friend, my author, I don't think this is going to work in my mind because I can vividly picture things.
Sometimes there's jets like on the back, like, if you're sitting.
That's, yes.
And he's on the corner. Sometimes it's hitting you in the middle of the back. And so that might work.
Okay. I'll accept that.
I don't know.
So they enjoy some wonderful sex this way. Okay. And at the end of it, he's like, oh my God, like, what did we just do? And, so he's like, I still need to leave this house. You know what? This is even getting worse. Like, I shouldn't have done that. That was a mistake. And she's like, you know what? What if we just didn't tell my dad? What if we just didn't tell anybody? You spend the weekend with me, and then we go our separate ways. It's one weekend.
I love a woman who knows what she wants.
Oh my gosh. Alex is on top of it, quite literally.
I want this.
Yeah, she's bossing him around. She's like, And he's very dominant as well. So anyway, she's like, here's the deal. We'll go to bed in our separate beds tonight. And if you want to leave in the morning, leave. But if you want to stay and make like some fun this weekend, come to my bedroom first thing in the morning and I'll know that you're in. Okay?
Come.
So the next morning, she's like, it's like 8:30. And she's like, well, how early do I expect him? Like, I didn't really give him a timeline. Right? Like, he could be gone by now.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's still sleeping.
Yeah.
So what do? She's like, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. Literally. Okay. So she brought herself some toys.
Of course.
I also want to tell you at this point that she's sleeping in the master bedroom, which is where her parents sleep. And I will always find it weird when people have sex in their parents' rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Even if like it's an adult thing where like technically it's no one's room, but it's the master bedroom and your parents own the house. And no.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Mm-mm. Anyway, but she goes to the shower and she brings some toys with her. Obviously, she has a dildo, but it's not just any dildo.
No, never.
No. It is a dildo that allows you to inject lubricant into a tunnel into a tube within the dildo, and then you get a little remote. And when you want to release the lubricant, you hit the button on the remote.
Okay. Interesting.
Can you tell what this might be for?
Man?
You're mumbling. Speak louder.
A man?
No, it is not. I guess it could be if you wanted it to be. But I will let you off the hook now.
Thank you.
And tell you that our girl has a breeding kink.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. We'll get into that in a second. So she brings this into the shower with her, and she's very vocal. She's running the shower. She's imagining a million scenarios with Elijah, right?
So happy for her.
Yeah. Until the man is right there in front of her in the shower, and she discards of the goodies that she brought with her, and they end up having sex. Okay.
So happy for her.
So
fantasies come true in the shower.
Yeah. You know what?
Manifestation, girl.
Manifesting at the most.
Oh my God.
So they end up in bed chatting, right? And he's like, so what was that little toy I saw in the bathroom?
You're like, wait, hold on.
And she explained, she was like, I do have an IUD. Like, I promise I'm all good. I do have a breeding kink. And yes, I want to be a mom. And I want to be, like, I want to have my babies. But at the same time, I just like the concept of, like, having somebody finish inside me unprotected. Like, that's kind of the part of it. I like the concept. I don't necessarily want to be bearing children 24/7.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of being finished in.
Okay.
And so he was like, cool. And she was like, you're really cool with that? Because my ex-fiance found it really weird. Of course, right? Like, there's always the ex that ruined the experience.
Yeah.
And then, like, of course, he, like, helps heal her.
Of course.
In some way. So, of course, she's now trauma dumped a little bit. It's his turn, in which he's like, yeah, I feel like I really missed out on parts of my life where I thought I was going to be at 45. Like, I thought I was going to have kids by now. I thought I was going to have, like, a domestic life. I was going to do all these things with my career. I'm not there yet. And she was like, yeah, I thought I was going to have a domestic life in these ways, too, because I was supposed to be engaged or married right now.
Right.
And she comes up with a brilliant idea.
Oh, no.
Why don't we role play house this weekend? So I will pretend to be your wife and you pretend to be my husband. And he's like, wonderful idea.
Love it.
Breeding kink, check. Loved that one. Husband and wife, check. Love it. What's next? So they agree to play husband and wife for the weekend. I'm just loving how on board he is with absolutely
I like that
everything.
they're both like, yes, they're yes men.
He's literally yes manning.
Yeah.
Yes anding if his whole weekend, like, improv style.
Yeah.
So they decide to go to the beach. They have a private beach that they have access to on this lake. He, of course, doesn't really love it because it's sand and gross, which I kind of understand. I don't like being messy either. But she wins him over with, like, a little picnic and anal sex.
Oh,
yep.
Picnic and anal. Obviously.
Just what everyone wants when they are on the beach.
Yeah, obviously.
So it starts with her receiving anal from one of her dildos that he privately packed without her knowing. And then he goes down on her while she's receiving the anal sex from the dildo.
Jesus.
And then receives it from him. So, like, from his actual penis. So
I'm so happy for them.
no, it is like, and I'm also just sitting here the whole time thinking, there's probably sand.
So much sand.
And it says that he brought, like, a baby wipe or like a wet wipe of some sort to wipe down things. But I don't try, you try to keep sand out of places when you go to the beach, and it will always end up there.
Butthole. That is bad.
It is so bad. Anyway, so that just kickstarts so much sex. Almost every chapter after this is them just banging and banging and banging. But unfortunately, our time does have to come to an end. So the end of the weekend comes. They get one last bang in, right?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. And they both kind of want it to continue, but he's really hung up on the idea of like, this is my best friend and my boss's daughter.
Yeah.
Nothing can come of this. Mm-hmm. So even though she kind of keeps the door open for him to tell her, like, yeah, let's keep going, he's like, no, this was supposed to be one weekend.
Right.
And then they leave. So.
And that's it?
No.
Oh.
No, of course not.
Okay.
Of course not. This is a romance. It's a happily ever after. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
So we fast forward a month. Alex is at a big gala for her father, who's going to get some innovation, creativity award, whatever. She doesn't like coming to events like this, but she does it for her dad this time, right? Mm-hmm. And she meets up with her stepmom at the gala. Stepmom's like, well, you know, Elijah's going to be here. I know you guys had that crazy mix-up with the lake house. It was so nice that you shared the space with him.
Oh, my God.
And I'm just... It's so crazy that mix-up happened. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Like, my husband and I talk, we promise. Like, what?
Yeah.
So Alex is like, yeah, sure, stepmommy. I'm going to go to the bar and grab a drink. And the bartender is flirting with her. And she's kind of entertaining it a little bit. But then a deep voice says from behind her, please remove your hand from my wife.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm. And obviously this scares off the bartender. And Alex is like rolling her eyes. She's like, what the fuck was that? Like, you can't, like, we played for one weekend.
Yeah.
You can't pull that card anymore. Yeah. And they go sit down at the table and they're trading looks, right? And dad is completely oblivious to what's going on, right? But stepmommy, she's catching on.
She knew.
Yeah, no, she knows. And at one point she was like, did something go on with you and Elijah at the lake house? And like the tension is kind of building at the table until finally dad goes and gets his award. And mommy dearest says, quote, when Oliver gets back to the table, you go to the bathroom, Alex, and you, talking about Elijah, go get a drink. Then you can talk. Go all the way down the hall and to the left. There's a veranda outside. He won't find you there.
Oh, my God.
Mommy's on board.
Oh, my God.
Mommy is in for the assist.
Here's a hookup for you.
Here is an entire game plan for you guys. So, of course, they go and meet up and have this whole talking session, right? There's a massive declaration of love, right?
Always.
Where he's like, you're right. I did say I wanted to end that weekend. I've now realized, like, I want you. Like, I don't care how things end up with your father. I care about him. Obviously, he's my friend, but, like, I want you in my life. Yada, yada. I'm in love with you. And she was like, how could you say this? Because your life, I hear about how good your life is now. You're doing great at work. And like, dad says you're not working as hard anymore. And you're like having work-life balance. And he's like, it's all because of you, Alex.
Of course.
You have taught me work-life balance.
Yes, that's what they wanted to accomplish.
That's what corporate America doesn't tell you.
Oh my God.
Find love. You'll find work-life balance. So this whole confession happens and they start hooking up.
Yeah, obviously.
He is literally about to whip out his dick. He's got his hands on his belt when her dad is down the hallway screaming Elijah's name, right?
Oh, no.
Daddy Dearest is obviously tormented by this. He's just upset. He's like, you're attacking my daughter. Alex keeps on being like, I wanted his semen anyway.
How did he find out?
But Daddy, I love him.
But Daddy, I love him.
So stepmom, this like altercation happens for like 2 minutes where dad's upset until stepmom's like, hey, remember how you've hated every person that Alex has dated? This is your best friend who, 15 years difference is big, but it's not huge. They're both consenting adults. And he's a good guy. Otherwise, he wouldn't be your friend.
Right.
That's my other big complaint about this whole trope of like best friends or brother's best friend or like, you know, like any family type like friend connection. It's like if you're friends with a douchebag,
yes,
maybe don't be friends with a douchebag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Agree.
I would want my friends to be with my siblings because I love my friends.
That's fair.
Obviously, I want it to be a good connection, but like not, you know what I mean? Like none of them are like dicks that I'd be like, no, I don't want you being with my sibling.
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, it'd be a weird transition, but like, I don't.
You'd have to share, but yeah, I agree.
And then obviously Alex puts the cherry on top by telling Dad that she loves Elijah too,
Oh my God,
which
I thought she was gonna be pregnant.
I honestly thought this whole thing was going to end in a pregnancy.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a 1 year later epilogue. Would you like to guess where they are a year later?
Back at the house.
They are.
Marriage.
They are back at the house. What do you think they're doing?
Getting married.
They are already married.
Are they breeding?
Are they breeding? Yes, they are. So a year later, they've been married for about 3 months, and Dad is now completely on board. So Alex decides it's a good time for them to have kids. And so she goes to Elijah and tells him that she removed her IUD and is ready to have babies. So this leads to another giant sex scene of her calling him daddy on repeat.
Oh my God.
While having sex on the lake house dining room table. And that is where our story ends.
Stop. That is so funny.
No, it is like I was sweating because it was sex after sex after
You're
sex.
like, damn, how do you guys do this?
I was like, I don't know how you guys have this much stamina.
No, that is so funny.
We're not going to do a scorecard, but I do want to know your say smut moments from the book.
Well, I feel like the breeding kink was kind of like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, breeding kink in a non-paranormal romance always is interesting to me. Because, like, in paranormal romances, it's common because it's like a monster or something.
Yeah,
it's like primal.
Right. They want to reproduce.
And also the breeding kink being her thing and not his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I can't get over the hot tub.
I mean, it had to be there. That was like, it needed to be
No,
there.
like, my thing was the jet.
Oh,
that
yeah,
he
the
moved.
jet. That, how sweet of him.
No, he's so thoughtful.
He said, I am thinking about her, too.
I am a feminist.
I am a feminist.
Any other say smut moments?
The whole thing. The whole book.
I'm really worried about the sand in the asshole.
Yeah, I hope they don't have any infections. You know?
Yeah, but I'm happy for them. I am, like, it was alarming to get, because I was waiting for the daddy comments.
Yeah.
But it was, I get it where she dropped it in when they were actually trying to have babies.
Right.
But it did throw me off.
They held back a little.
Yeah, they held back.
Yeah.
She even said at one point, it always felt weird calling him daddy given the whole situation with, like, my dad being his friend and whatever.
Oh
but now it feels appropriate. So...
Love it. Look at that.
Liz, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hope you are ready to go home and take a nice shower and cleanse yourself of all the filth that we just listened to. But you can find us if you so choose on TikTok and Instagram at Say Smut Podcast. And we'd love to hear your reviews. Send those our way wherever you listen on whatever podcast platform of your choosing. In the meantime, stay smutty. Goodbye.